What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. Thank you guys again for joining us for another helpful video. This video is going to be talking about, or the main purpose of this video is going to be talking about the golden rule for investing in the stock market. I personally use this kind of approach when it comes down to investing in multiple markets, and a lot of different traders or a lot of people that excel in different markets, as in like real estate, possibly invest in the stock market, the buying and reselling of different products, or any business that you can do when it comes down to having an online business. If you can go ahead and I'm just going to let you guys know. So for those that don't want to tune in for the whole live stream and just want to get the gist of this specific live stream, just know that there's three things that I'm going to be talking about. It's going to be risk management and the importance of it, trend identification. So it's obviously, as investing in the stock market, or investing in real estate, or investing in any markets where there's trends. Obviously, in the stock market, that's going to be the most relatable. It's very important to identify and be familiar with trends. And then profit to loss ratio. So I'm going to explain to you and go into detail about each individual concept and why I think they're so important, and why I think you should master each, those three concepts before ever investing $1 in the stock market. And if you have not mastered, risk management, if you have not mastered trend identification, if you have not mastered a profit to risk ratio, then it means that you might just have to dedicate a little bit more time to simulation trading or paper trading. I do want to thank you guys all for tuning in live right now. I really do appreciate all your time and your support, and I'm going to make sure that I become as efficient with this live stream that I possibly can. So Kyle has something different that he wants to say when it comes down to his three rules. I think because I repeat them so often, we have three main rules with Technical Solutions. That's cut losses, smart. So there's an approach that you can take with a mental stop loss, or a max stop loss, or a stop loss at the support. He says lock in profits. That's very important for consistency, right? Making sure that you lock in profits and when you're in the green. Don't invest in what you don't understand or see value in. That's definitely a very important concept. Be wise. Obviously, you want to be knowledgeable in whatever market it is that you're investing in. And then the last thing he said, understand the broker like it's your girlfriend, or boyfriend, depending on where you stand. So overall, Kyle's a big jokester, but at the end of the day, those are definitely very important concepts. And if you guys know anything about Kyle or his style of trading, you can see him have great or amazing call-outs when it comes down to him participating in the main group chat. If you guys are a part of Technical Solutions, he's a part of the main group chat through Discord, and he always calls out a good amount of stocks. He actually doesn't trade every single one, because just because you call them out or you see value in them, it doesn't mean that you necessarily want to invest in it. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because although I understand the three rules that, risk ratio, a trend identification, and risk management, I still made a mistake today. And it's a mistake that people sometimes, become very discouraged of. And it was because of my position on VSTM. So if you guys joined us for today's live stream in the morning, I go live 15 minutes before the market opens. Usually Connor, who's our momentum trader, goes live about, 45 minutes before the market opens, and goes live for about 30 minutes. And then I take over and go live for about 30 minutes, from 15 minutes before the market opens and 15 minutes after the market opens. We're able to talk about CBIO and then this specific stock, VSTM. VSTM had a really nice pump from lows of 375 all the way up to 594, so a resistance at $6. And then we called out the support at $5. Unfortunately, I bought in too soon. And the thing that I made a mistake on is, the best way that I can put it for you is I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But if you guys noticed in my live stream, it came down to investing in one to two stocks. It was VSTM, the one that I was talking about, and then CBIO. The reason that I did not like CBIO is, again, all I was seeing was this. And I saw the resistance, the ceiling that it was hitting at $4, and I saw the downward trend. And it was holding below the EMA line, if you could see during pre-market hours. So again, this is all the data that I was given. It was holding below EMA, and it was approaching the golden VWAP line. Unfortunately, because it broke below and continued to see a downward trend, this is exactly when I stopped looking at it. So then I made the decision with the group and a couple of the traders to invest in VSTM. The reason that I liked VSTM, again, during pre-market hours, because this is all the data that I was given. Identified the resistance at $6. Again, that's where it peaked out at during pre-market hours. It saw a downward trend, and then it was bouncing at $5. So we identified a margin of profit. Therefore, this margin of profit from $5 to $6 is almost 20%. That's huge. Therefore, I'm willing to risk anywhere from 2 to 3% for this specific stock. So what I wanted to wait for was a bounce or some form of identification that it's going to see an upward trend. So we were patient. And right as it bounced, I was in the voice chats with the rest of the group, and it ended up breaking above 510, and it broke above the EMA line. I made the decision to invest in it, and unfortunately, when I got in at, I believe, 511 or 513. I got in with a very small position. And it started to pump right up. Again, my mistake was that I wasn't paying attention because I took such a small position on the percentage growth that I already saw. Getting in at 513. So if you guys can see right here, right after the pump, I got in at 513, and it pumped all the way up to 526. That's 2.5% potential for profit that I was already up. And because I got in with such a small position, 2.5% is huge, especially if you can lock that in every day. Regardless of what type of trader you are, momentum or technical or a swing trader, 2.5% a day, especially within 5 to 10 minutes, is huge. And unfortunately, because I was so focused on this huge margin that it had to like $6, I wasn't paying enough attention. I wasn't focused enough to take advantage of the opportunity that it presented itself after it peaked out to 525, and then it saw a downward trend and then broke the support at $5, and then I ended up having to cut losses. I lost about 2.2%, nothing huge, but I made the mistake between VSTM and CBIO. My mistake was that I didn't validate. At the end of the day, looking back at CBIO when it bounced at the golden VWAP line, if I was a little bit more patient, literally if I would have just waited, like if you guys caught my live stream, I called out that, okay, well, CBIO is actually heading back down. And we got the alert that it went below 355 or 360. It broke some sort of support. And I was like, okay, well, CBIO is done. It's heading back down. And I ignored it. And I didn't give it enough time to actually bounce. Unfortunately, because of that, I made the decision to invest in VSTM, which led to my loss today. It could have been a green trade if I would have locked in profits right away when it was at 525, but unfortunately I did not. Right? That was my mistake, and an area of an opportunity that I have for myself is I did the risk management. So I saw that my potential for profit, being 20%, was much greater than my potential for loss. I knew at max I would risk 3%. Therefore, if I'm, overall, I usually take a $3,500 position size to $4,000. And realistically, the risk was worth it for me. The thing that I did not wait for was, it was more of the trend identification, making sure that I was, validating the support and that it was heading up. It continued to break above EMA, but wouldn't hold above it. So something I could have done a little bit better is waited for the break above the purple VWAP line to give myself a better understanding that it's actually bouncing. As you can see, it pretty much just flatlined around, $4.90 to $5 throughout the day. And because I planned this one out to be an original, day trade, I didn't want to hold it overnight. So I ended up cutting my losses at $4.90, and it was kind of at the bottom of where it was at, and unfortunately that's just what I had to do, and because of that, that's really just it. But that left CBIO and all the potential that it had. Connor did an amazing job calling this specific stock out, and if we would have waited for the bounce on the golden VWAP line and would have managed our risk there, realistically I would have not I would have not known that it would have increased all the way up to $4.74. That was definitely more of a momentum trade. If you guys know anything about me, I would have sold at the resistance at $4. So that means if we would have waited for the validation at the golden VWAP bounce, that would have been anywhere from 14% profit max. That's huge. And again, this validated the support and then it started to trend back up. So I probably should have waited until it broke above the EMA line and up to $4. That's 10% potential. Again, it's just an area of opportunity for myself that I could have done a little bit better. Is definitely the trend identification. I got a little frustrated because the easiest way that I can put it is because of my day trades. I haven't been day trading as often, and unfortunately because of that, I felt like I was kind of forcing my trades. That's the easiest way for me to put it. I still stuck to my plan when it came down to risk management and the profit to risk ratio. So I knew what I was investing in. I knew my potential for loss and my potential for profit. Obviously, it was worth it for me as an investor, knowing that the stock that I took a position on had a 20% potential for profit and it had about 2 to 3% potential for loss. At least that's what I was going to risk. But realistically, the trend identification, waiting for the validation of the support and waiting for the upward trend is one of the biggest components. And if you fail or miss one of those rules, then unfortunately, that's when you'll experience more red days. So what I kind of wanted to do in this video is I'm going to be sharing my screen again, and I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of our traders that did very well today. They did well not because of my call outs, not because of anything that I did for them, but it comes down to them following their own rules. And something that after talking to a couple of these traders, they ended up investing in these stocks not because any of us told them to, because that's not something that we do within TechBet Solutions. We all invest in what we see value in, and that's one of the most important things. But they had risk management set up. They had trend identification, and I asked them, why is it that you invest in this specific stock? And they've identified a support, they've identified a resistance. So again, that comes down to the risk management and trend identification. If it validates the support, then it starts trending back up. And then the profit to risk ratio. They're like, okay, well, my potential for loss was about 1 to 2%, when my potential for profit was anywhere from 5 to 10%. Therefore, it was an investment worth taking. And it's as simple as that. It's not about quantity. It's not how many positions that you take per day. It's about the quality. And it's about making sure that every stock that you invest in meets the criteria that you have set. And I really do want to congratulate, and I wish I can do it for every single member. This was just a couple of the members that we had within our group that I was able to capture within a short period of time. But if you guys could see right here, let me go ahead and I'm calling this the profit wall for today. And again, these are all profits from just a couple of our traders from today. Man, this thing needs to go up. So JTAS, I'm not too sure if you guys are going to be able to see. But he locked in a little bit over 17% profit. It was $507. It's really bad quality. I do apologize for that. Not too sure why it's so disoriented right now. PTN, we got a member that locked in 28% profit, almost 29%. That's huge. I mean, he has a little bit of a smaller account, but regardless, it's all about percentage growth. So just think about him having $10,000. He would have locked in almost $2,900 with that one trade. That's one trade. That's huge. Then we have Jose that locked in, again, 12, almost 13% profit, $243 today. We have Sean again with this trade. I think this was PTN. It's the same thing, but just another screenshot showing the 7.97% growth on the day. Another trader, one of our traders, locking in $40 with the profit overall today. And then Slurpee giving a shout out to Kettle for the assistance. He's seen 60% growth within the past month. Guys, 60% growth. Realistically, that would take you 9 years with the average of the S&P 500 to be able to achieve that. Obviously, the account isn't huge, but it's all about percentage growth. So if you can continue growing your account consistently, then that's all that matters. We have Gaz that locked in. I think it was a little bit over. It's like it wasn't a huge amount, but again, as you guys can see, more red than green. It was anywhere from like $110. And then we have Kettle Cook locking in a steady $111 on the day. And one of the most important things that I want to thank you guys for is for the environment that you guys promote within our group. I definitely think that you guys are now getting the gist of our group, that we're not here to spoon feed you within TechBet Solutions. It's a free networking group that I provide for all of you, and it wouldn't be made possible if it weren't for all the group leaders and all the admins within our community. So if you guys ever see a golden name or a blue name, and you're part of the TechBet Solutions group chat, please thank them for their time. Again, we're all doing this for free, so we'd really appreciate just the assistance. If you can do anything and answer someone else's question, then again, it's a group effort, and we're definitely more of a family than any other group chat, in my own opinion. I mean, I don't participate in any other group chat because I just love the environment and just the supportive atmosphere that we have within our community. And what I wanted you guys to understand when it comes down to this is the most important thing. So we talked about the 3 rules that I see the most value in. They don't mean that doesn't mean that these are the stocks or these are the rules that you personally have to see the most value in. Just investing in the stock market. But I want you guys to really think about this, and I'm serious. So when it comes down to risk management, when it comes down to trend identification, and when it comes down to profit to risk ratio. So let me get into detail about risk management. Therefore, there's so many different stocks out there. So something that I could have done with the position that I took on when it came down to VSTM, the way that I did the risk management is that I saw from $5 to $6, it had about 20% potential. That's the potential that it has if it validates the support at $5 and it starts trending up. That's all the potential it has within 1 day, since it's made that movement all within 1 day. Now let's say, that's the risk management. Let me kind of get into this. There's the door. Okay, so the best way that I can put it is from pre-market hours, from $5 to $6, it has 20% potential. And the risk management, it kind of goes into the profit to risk ratio, but the risk management is like, okay, well, my potential for profit is about 20%. And my potential for loss, well, I'm willing to risk, about 1 to 3% for that potential for profit. Therefore, if I end up, it's all about focusing on stocks that have greater potential for profit than the risk involved. So with like, let's say AMD, for example, AMD today, after it had the bounce at the purple VWAP line, I mean, you can use these VWAP lines for example. Okay, well, if it bounces right here at the golden VWAP line and the potential for profit that it has, it tells you the percentage right here. You know, it's 13 to 1307. The potential for profit is anywhere about 2.5%. Is that trade worth taking? Well, when it comes down to knowing that, you know, that trade, if it ends up playing out perfectly like planned, it's 2.5%, or taking a position on VSTM, and the potential for profit being, you know, from the $5 to the $6 is 20%. Therefore, the potential for profit is much greater on VSTM, and the risk is not even that much greater. Therefore, this is, I think, a better, you know, because the reward is much greater and the risk isn't necessarily there. You know, it is a little bit more than AMD because I would cut losses at about 1% there. But when it comes down to the overall potential for profit, VSTM offers much more. Therefore, that's why I decided to dedicate my time to VSTM. Trend identification. So what I did here was, well, I saw that there was a resistance at $6 because of the pre-market hours. And then when it came down to the bounce that it validated at pre-market hours, it you know, bounced at $5. Therefore, that was a trend. It bounced at $5. It had a resistance at $6, and then it bounced, and then it was starting to head back down, head back up to $6. It started to come back down, and what was to be expected? Well, because it previously bounced at $5, we wait for the validation of the support, and we buy at the bounce. So, you know, being able to buy at $5 and being able to sell at $5.25, that would have been a perfect 4.4% profit. But again, it didn't play out like that because I didn't take the position. That's an area of an opportunity for myself. But that's how you do the trend identification. When you see trends, see them repeat themselves, and then you can take advantage of that opportunity. And then the last thing is profit to risk ratio. You know, this one from 20% profit, and it had about, you know, a 3% risk ratio if that's what you wanted to risk. That's a 20 to 3, right? Now let's talk about AMD. AMD from the bounce, if it had the potential to go all the way up to, you know, 1307, that risk would have been, you know, for 0.3%, you would have, you know, risked about 1%. Therefore, is that risk worth taking? For every, you know, 2.5%, you're risking 1%. I mean, VSTM seems like a much more attractive investment, at least in my case. So the reason that I'm talking about this is because I feel like so many traders are so overwhelmed by all the number of options that they are given within the group chat and with all these different platforms that you guys have access to. All the different platforms that you guys have access to. Understand that, you know, when it comes down to investing in anything, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And making sure that your investment, especially because those that are under the PDT rule, I want to make sure that you guys understand that you guys have 3-day trades to take advantage of within a 5-day period. Understand that and make sure that you use that to your advantage. Therefore, those 3 trades and those 3 positions that you take advantage of 3 times out of the week should be the best positions or the best stocks that you see value in. So one of the things that I would recommend is set up your 3 top rules that you want every single stock to follow. If it comes down to making sure that you have the proper risk management, the trend identification, and the profit to risk ratio, so be it. But if you want to set up your own plan, then that's what I would recommend. When it comes down to certain criteria that you want to make sure that every single stock can meet, then make sure that you set up that certain criteria for a day trade or for a swing trade. To give you an example, when it comes down to my day trades, something that I now use when it comes down to trading momentum stocks is the VWAP. I try to wait for the bounce at the golden VWAP line, and then I either sell at the purple VWAP line or when it breaks above EMA, or at the red VWAP line if it, you know, is able to break that quick. And when it comes down to more of a swing trade, something that I like to focus on is the RSI. I like to focus on volume, and then I like to focus on the MACD indicator. The EMA indicator, making sure that it's trending up and validating the support, and then it's trending back up. Therefore, you know, it's above EMA, it's below 35 RSI, and then it has a healthy amount of volume. Those are my criteria when it comes down to swing trade. So Vin right now is saying that criteria is key, and it just simply comes down to, like, there's no individual that can tell you what you see value in. You know, you guys might agree on some points and some certain topics, but realistically, we all see value in different stocks, and we all take advantage of opportunity in different ways. It comes down to identifying yourself as what type of trader you are and making sure that the criteria that you follow are ones that you really see value in. Therefore, when it comes down to taking a position, make sure that the positions that you are taking in, the investments that you are taking, are ones worth taking. You know, don't trade based on anyone else's opinion. There's nothing wrong with being exposed to an opportunity by someone else just talking about it, but never make an investment solely based on someone else's opinion. I can't stress that enough. And we have Ishmael Hernandez right now saying volume, volume, volume. That's one of the most important things. How can you, trade without volume? If you can't get in or you can't get out, then, you're stuck holding this worthless stock. And hey, Ricky, nice shirt. Where can I get one? Again, it's the third link in the description. So if you guys want to pre-order your TechBud Solutions t-shirts, you guys are more than welcome to. You guys definitely don't have to, but they are available for pre-order right now. But that's really just it. Those are the golden rules, and I'm going to continue to repeat those rules in every single live stream. So I'm sorry if you guys feel that I'm bombarding you with the same type of content when it comes down to the 3 new rules that I'm going to be talking about. I'm still going to be talking about, never invest in stocks that you don't understand. Only invest based, never invest based on anyone else's opinion, and the importance of risk management. But I also want to make sure that you guys understand the profit to risk ratio, making sure that if you keep your losses small and you keep your profits much greater, at the end of the day, it makes sense. It makes sense that even if you take, 3 losses for 1 red day, even if you take 3 losses at 1% and you take 1 green trade that ends up playing out the way that you want it to, so out of 4 trades, and the 5% potential for profit at 5% gain and 3% loss because of the 3 red trades. But if you manage those risks at 1%, you'll still end up at the end of the week on a green note. And that's a lot of the things, or that's a very common thing that people are not doing. They're not sticking to their plan and they're not cutting the losses. So I want to make sure, and I want you guys to direct message me. I want to be an individual that you guys can personally reach out to. So again, the link is going to be down in the description if you guys want to be a part of TechBud Solutions. I'm sure the ones that are joining us live are already a part of TechBud Solutions. But I want to encourage you guys is to direct message me every single morning. This might be, I might end up, I don't know. It might be an overwhelming amount of direct messages because we have thousands of members, but I want to encourage you guys, even if I don't respond right away, I want you guys to direct message me the 3 rules that you are going to set up and the 3 rules that every stock has to follow before you invest your hard-earned money. I really want you guys to understand that I want you guys to trade quality stocks, and no one can tell you what a quality stock is, because then at that point you would be investing in someone else's opinion, and that's not what we do here. So Devin Mendoza is saying that you inspire me. Well, thank you, bud. I know Devin Mendoza. That's the funny thing. So that's really just it. So I want to thank you guys all for your time and for your effort. If you guys can like this video, we'd greatly appreciate just letting us know that, you like the content that we are creating. If you have any questions or suggestions for videos that we can make in the future that you think can be, an interest, not only for yourself, but for our future viewers, then feel free, again, to leave it down in the comment sections or direct message me. Other than that, again, the first link in the description is going to be or allow you to have access to donate to the Hurricane Harvey donation link that we have available, as well as the second link is going to be the TechBud Solutions website where you can sign up for our beta trials. So just type in your email, press enter, and then you can be a part of the family and be a part of the beta trials. So Ricky, back at it again with the good advice. Joshua Moore, I appreciate that. But that's really just it. I'm sure you guys can all stand by that, and I know it gets super frustrating. Like myself today, I took a loss, and it's all part of the game. You have to understand that I managed my risk. I took a loss of 2%, but I know that when I lock in, 5 to 10%, it's going to be worth it because I'm going to continue to cut my losses small, and I'm going to make sure that I lock in my profits at 5 to 10% or wherever the green is. And at the end of the week, I will end up in a green note because I know how to manage my risk. And if you guys take anything from this video, it has to be risk management. That's one of the most important things. That's the only way that you will grow your account. And I think it's one of the most common mistakes on why 90% of people lose money in the stock market. And that has to be because they don't know how to cut losses. You can possibly be, not the best trend. You can possibly not, identify the best trend, or, you don't always have to, identify the best profit to risk ratio. But if you don't know how to manage risk, and you're losing 20 to 30% of your account per trade, then that's why you lose so much of your account, because you're not cutting losses quick enough. If you really focus your time and your effort to stocks that you see value in, and you have that risk management portion to it, then you're in the green. Not always 100%, but you're taking a better approach than a majority of the traders. So thank you guys again so much for watching. How to fix a squeaky door, man, Kyle. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in live. Like always, guys, again, all the links are down in the description. If you guys want to follow me in my social media account or Instagram, Everything is down in the description. You guys can schedule a consultation call with myself. If you guys want to ask me any specific questions, and it's just a one-to-one video call, that one-to-one video call link is in the description. We'd love to have you as a part of the family, but I want to make sure that regardless if you want to be a part of my group or not, you guys definitely don't have to. All I encourage you guys to do is to manage your risk and to understand the market that you're investing in. It's one of the most important things to succeed in any market, regardless if it's a stock market or any traditional market out there. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, guys. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care.